Welcome back to another episode of Saturday Afternoon Gaming. I'm your host, Gaming Jay, and today we're hopping into the wonderful world of Windows 3.1 for some Risk. I decided to play Risk today because, full disclosure, Russia has invaded the Ukraine, and this is crazy world events. And don't worry, my channel's not going to become like a political activist channel or anything like that. I believe that people need outlets and people need places to go where they can escape from the world, and I want this to be a place where we can, but at the same time we exist in the world, and it's been on my mind a lot, and I'm not going to talk about it all that much today, but I just wanted to throw it at the beginning that this is sort of unprecedented and crazy, and 100% Russia's in the wrong here, and people in the Ukraine really need support right now. And maybe it's hypocritical to say that, and what am I personally doing? Not much besides consuming the news, honestly. I'll be honest with you guys, but ignoring it did not feel like the right thing to do. So that's my little preamble today. That's why I decided to play a game like Risk, because it felt oddly topical. And I'm not trying to take advantage of the situation or anything. I'm not trying to push my views on any of you guys, and I'm not trying to turn this into a channel where we can't just turn our brains off and escape from the chaos sometimes that exists out in the world. So, if you haven't been following the news, all I would say is look it up, because it's the kind of thing that you don't want to be unaware of what's going on. And anyway, with that said, let's turn back to the glory that is Windows 3.1 that we see here, and let's try and mentally escape together for a bit, guys. Because one of the great things about video games is they bring up so much nostalgia and fun, and it throws us back to a simpler time. And sometimes I think we all need that. So let's play some Risk. Risk, of course, is one of my favorite board games, even though I think there are much better board games these days. But I mean, unlike a game like Monopoly, which is widely played, which I think is just a crap board game, and I don't know why it's so popular. It sucks. It's not a good game, in my opinion. Risk, I think, is a good game. It's just that more modern games have developed better game mechanics to make even better strategy games. Like my pinnacle is the Game of Thrones strategy game. It's sort of like Risk, only with a lot more going on. And maybe one day, if they ever make a digital version, we'll play it. And also, again, I'm playing the Windows 3.1 version because isn't this a throwback? Do you guys remember when computers used to be on like your dad's work computer playing like Windows 3.1, and like it's so primitive by today's standard. It's hilarious. But I got my little virtual machine here with Windows 3.1. And anyway, let's actually play Risk. I don't know if I've ever actually played this version before, but I've certainly played my fair share of Risk. And we have some strategies going into it. So I'll walk you through some of my strategies. But I guess the last political thing I'll say today is I think it would be appropriate if we invade and liberate Russia. So we're going to let the computer take over control of Asia and Eurasia over here and get Russia. We might even let them into the Ukraine, and then we're going to beat them back, guys, in sort of a symbolic, I don't know what you'd call it, but that's my go-to strategy for today. We'll give them Russia, and we're going to show them what's what. Now, if you've ever played Risk before, there's different continents like North America, South America, Africa, Europe, Asia, and Australia. And basically controlling all the territories in a continent grants you an army bonus. So every turn you get a couple of armies. Depending on how many territories you have, you muster some forces, I guess. Oh my God, just noticing a Canadian flag there. That is so cool. Canada's part of the world, folks. They recognized us. In fact, actually, if you look at the landmass, Canada, I guess it's about, I was going to say it's bigger than the US on this depiction of the globe, but I mean, I guess if that's Alaska, they're pretty comparable. But I'm pretty sure Canada's a bigger landmass in actuality. But anyway, depending on how many territories you have, you muster some armies, but if you hold a continent, you get an army bonus. And so there are a couple of really good territories. Australia is the safest because once you get it, you can fortify sort of Siam in the Philippines over here. And it's really hard for forces to bust in. But one problem is you can kind of get stuck down here because if, players controlling Asia might be getting bigger army bonuses. If they box you in, then it's just a matter of time before you lose. So Australia's a bit of a risk. If you can take Australia and venture out and take Asia, then you're sitting pretty. Then you're going well. Africa and Europe are hard to hold. If you can hold both Europe and Africa together, so there's a choke point here, a choke point here, and then you hold the Ukraine and I forget what this one is, Middle East. If you hold those 4 territories, then you're getting a massive army bonus, a bigger one than North America and South America. But this is kind of a central position on the board, so it's hard to do. And holding just Europe, you have to hold 1, 2, 3, 4 territories. It's the same as if you were holding Africa, and you're getting less of an army bonus. So, Europe and Africa is a hard strategy. And one thing that makes it hard too is by being in the middle of the map, you're usually not just fending off some player who's in Asia over here, but then you have some jerk in North America attacking you, some Turkey in South America. It's a whole thing. So this can be very hard to hold. South America is another country like Australia that can be held pretty easily. Maybe it's the second most easy country to hold. You can usually just fortify right here, and the African players got their own problems. They're typically not invading, and you're okay. And then you can try and venture forth and take North America. So it's sort of like you have the benefit of Australia trying to take a bigger continent, but it's easier to get North America than Asia. So there's that strategy. And then you could go for the crazy strategy of trying to get Asia. It never works. Asia is always like a prize you get when you have a staging base, like you either already control Europe or Africa or something. It's typically the person who gets Asia also controls Australia here. And then 2 other little tactics I'll tell you about before we really get going in here. I mean, if you play Risk, you know all these strategies, but let's say that you do have South America and you're like, I want to put armies here and here so that I always get my army bonus and people won't attack me. So you build up really big forces here. And then the North American guy is looking at you, he's like, okay, I'm sick of this guy getting his army bonus. I got to whittle you down if I'm going to take North America. So they actually attack this territory and they go no further. They destroy all your armies here, take this territory, and then they retreat all their armies up here. What they have just done is sabotaged your army bonus for 1 turn, and they're not planning on holding this, so you take it back. And then they attack you again and take it away. And then you take it back, and they attack you again, and they will whittle you down because basically every turn you're losing your bonus. So one thing you can do is actually fortify 1 territory out. So rather than fortifying here, you could fortify Mexico. So now you're holding Mexico. So now if the North American player tries that stuff, they attack here, waste all these forces, take this, but then they might not have enough forces to actually take anything in South America. So you still get your army bonus, and then you attack back. And they attack back, and you attack back. So it's the same thing of going back and forth, turn after turn, for a single territory, but you're getting your army bonus every turn, and that's critical. So sometimes having buffer zones is good. And then there's one other strategy called going nomad, which maybe we'll actually do. So let's go into our options here. Okay, we actually don't have any options. There's 2 ways to play Risk. One is that, so as you attack territories, you get cards, and when you can turn in a matched set, so 3 troops, 3 cannons, 3 horses, or you can turn in a set that's 1 of each, so like a troop, a horse, and a cannon. When you turn in your 3 cards, what happens is you get an instant army bonus, and there's 2 ways of playing. One is that there's set army bonuses, so like the 3 soldiers gives you 4 armies, 3 horses gives you 6, 3 cannons gives you 8, something like that. And the other is that as card bonuses are turned in player to player, the bonus armies you get increases over time. So the first set of 3 gets 4 armies, the next 6, the next 8, the next 10, the next 12, and it just goes on and on exponentially. I think I prefer the first way of playing where it's set army bonuses, but that usually creates long drawn out games. But if I could have set it up that way, I would have. And All right, so let's set up a couple of players here. Let's set up a busy world. So we are going to be the good old Canadians. Glory be to Canada. We'll have the Americans. They'll be in here with us. We'll also have the EU. I know all the colors are wrong, but I'm kind of committed to this. We'll have, who else do we want? EU, Canadian Americans, Australians. Call them the Aussies. I don't even think that's spelled right, but that's okay. And then we'll have the Ruskies. Hopefully they take, we'll try and pigeonhole them in there, but you know, whatever, they might, who knows where anyone's going to end up. Okay, I'm going to set these all to intermediate so that we're not playing on too hard, but we'll see how it goes. We may lose this. We'll see. Computer speed, slow, method of choosing territories, selectable. All right. First player is randomly chosen. So now we each go around selecting territories in turn. The Americans, why would you pick that territory? That makes no sense. These selections are truly random, you fools. Okay, my strategy, I typically have liked to go for Australia in the past, but I think North America and South America is pretty good too. I'm going to see what we can make happen in North and South America. And so here's an idea. Like, let's say you want to select all the territories in North America. If I just start selecting here and here, eventually the AIs will notice and start putting armies in here. So I'm instead going to place my armies in positions where they have lots of spaces to go. So if I go here, I can only go down to South America, which I don't really care about, or up and up. Actually, I just reversed my strategy. I'm going to go here in case I do want to go to South America. South America may end up being the staging ground in order to eventually build up to North America. So, okay, go here. If nobody else goes in South America, I'm going to take 2 of the 4 spots. The Ruskies. The Ruskies are sort of heading out. Well, no, it seems like the Americans want Eurasia there. So I don't know. The AI strategies seem random and incompetent, which frankly I'm okay with. There we go. All right. Well, we got 3 of 4 South America, and we have even a buffer state. See, we could take this as a buffer state too, in fact. But I think I'm going to focus my energies on taking more and more of the North America. Having continuous connected territories is usually pretty important too, because if you have territories scattered everywhere, in order to defend them, you need to place armies all over the place. But let's say you have a border like here and here, you can leave these 2 territories virtually undefended and focus all your armies here, and that will act basically as a deterrent and prevent people from actually attacking you. So having continuous borders is important. Once enemies get in your borders and they're behind your lines, they can usually cause quite a bit of damage. Okay. We are doing well. It's funny, the Canadians, I'm playing as the Canadians. We own South America, Mexico, and the USA. Oh, and Quebec. But, oh no, wait. Where's Ontario? Ontario's like here. Ontario's weirdly split between East and West Canada there. All right, so now, like, literally, I would actually rather not place any more armies, but I guess I'll go here in Japan in case I want to go there and there. But, oh, it's already taken. Okay, I'll go here then, I guess. We'll have a symbolic army in Kamchatka, or I think this is Kamchatka right here. Once one army has been placed in each territory, each player will place 1 army until all the armies have been distributed. Okay, so I like how there's like a little steamboat as like the waiting icon. I'm gonna try and make this full screen if I can. Nope, you cannot. Good old Windows 3.1. All right, so Canadian. I'm gonna try and build up here so I can sweep up, although maybe that's a bad strategy. This is a more flexible position. Okay. Well, whoever yellow is, I've already forgotten what all the colors are. The Aussies. What the hell is an Aussie doing in South America, man? He's getting in my way. Now, I actually don't mind that there are multiple forces building up in North America because they will typically just fight each other. So I will actually welcome a war between the Ruskies and the Aussies, I think. No. Who's purple? EU? I should have thought the colors through more. They make absolutely no sense. It's impossible to track who anybody is. But I will welcome a war between, these forces here. I mean, green looks like he was doing a grab for North America. Purple's in there too. So they're probably gonna fight back and forth. I'm just gonna pull back and maybe guard the states. So make a border here and let them fight it out for Canada, and then I'll swoop in at the last minute and steal my homeland back. All right, I wonder if we can actually speed up the computer. Options, fast speed. Here we go, baby. Okay, 9. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna start building, distributing some armies here, and then that's pretty good. Use number of dice roll. So when you are defending a territory, you want to have at least 2 armies to defend. Because here's how risk works. The attacking force can use up to 3 dice to attack, and the defenders can use up to 2. So there's always a bit of an advantage for the attacker. I think it's, offense 3, defense is 2 maxed out. If you only have 1 army there, you can only roll 1 die. And if the attacker has 3 dice, they're rolling 3 dice. So they have 3 dice they can roll, and if one of them beats yours, then they win. If there's a tie or if you roll a 6, then you always win. So having more rolls usually helps you defend better. I think that's the way the math works out. Anyway, we're going to roll with 2. And we lost. Oh no, we lost 1 and he lost. Oh no, he's attacking again. Alright. Good. So he attacked, so he had 4 armies here. He attacked and whittled things down, but in doing so, like, look, they literally annihilated themselves. Yeah, I lost 2 armies here, but he lost 4, or he lost 3, because 1 ended up over here, and then he got invaded himself. So actually and look, they're also weak now. See, let your enemies fight themselves. That is the way to do it. So let's go here. Yeah, I want to go attack here. Attack with 3 dice. Canadians, you lost 1 armies. The Ruskies lost 0. You damn Ruskies. Okay, let's do it again. You lost 0. Okay, we took over the Ruskies. Now, I'm going to move all my armies. You always have to leave 1 army back to defend. But now we can just attack the Aussies. Move the minimum. You always have to move the same number of armies you were attacking with. So I attacked with 3. So the only time you might want to attack with 1 army is if you're just trying to move 1 army there. But now we can... usually there's a fortify turn where you can move your guys. So repeat attack. Oh, you can just repeat attack. That's good. View personal cards, set value, end turn. Okay, I don't know how to do the free move because that's kind of important. Okay, I'm just going to hit end turn. Wish to end your turn. Yes. You like to pass armies from one territory to another. Yes. Okay. So what I want to do is take these 3 and I want to move them down there. You can only do this once per turn. And so basically I'm trying to fortify my border like I suggested to you guys. Now I have 2 armies over here and I only need 1. I'd love to move this 1 extra over here, but truthfully, moving 3 over is more important. But we'll do this next turn. So you have to space out your move turns. Anyway, let's view our card. Ooh, Siam. Oh yeah, and if you own the territory for a card that you turn in, you get, I think, an extra army or 2. We're nowhere near Siam, so that one's definitely not going to be one that we control. Alright, the computer's going to war. I like how the dice are like kind of like flat cubes. It's kind of funky. Get your reserves, then choose your attacking position. All right. Wait, how do I get my reserves? Get reserves. Your turn has already been started. Damn it! All right, well, I guess I don't understand risk. Now, every turn you should be conquering something because you want to get a card. So we attack the Americans. They lost. We'll end our turn. You like to pass armies? Yes. Now, see, I got to move these guys back. Here we go. All right, who's got my view? My card 1. Card 2 is Peru. Ooh, which I do actually own. That's right over here. Awesome. All right, we do have to build up this border. Get your reserves. All right, I think I have like 3 turns worth of armies. Maybe I was not placing my reserves for 2 turns. Damn, I think I hurt myself that way. Oh look, the green player is actually building up a border too. They're going for North America. That ain't happening, bro. I can already tell you, it ain't gonna go down like that, broski. So let's go like this. Right. We want to whittle the green player down and make him nice and weak. Oh, and the green player is the Ruskies. Yeah, let's get them, boys! Symbolic victory for the win. I'm gonna try and just roll 1 dice. You lost 1 army. Symbolic victory for the win. Yes. I'm only gonna move 1 army. There we go. And now I can fortify these 2 over there. I was saving my fortification turn. Okay, from here to there. There we go. Okay, we got Siam, Peru, and the Congo. That ain't helping nothing. I mean, maybe we could take Africa. All right, get our reserves. We have 5 armies to distribute. I really think the first 2 turns I just threw away getting armies, which sucks. I didn't realize. I thought normally in these Risk computer games you start by placing armies. It doesn't let you skip that. And if you do skip it, you hold them in reserve and you can place them again later. So I feel like I done goofed. But anyway. Oh, crap. I did not mean to place it there. All right. All right, and we'll build up a force there. And let's attack the Ruskies again. You damn Ruskies. Get out of my country. Get out of the glorious of Canada. I should say, okay, I know I'm not trying to be political today, even though I like brought up everything that's happened in the Ukraine. I will say that one thing I think the entire world should be clear on is like, not all Russians are bad. And I've been seeing on Twitter protests from Russians who are protesting Putin in the war. Really, it's Putin who sucks. Putin, you know, he just needs to go. He needs to disappear, let's just say. And he needs to be deposed and gone. And there was a lot of Russians who actually are protesting the war in the Ukraine. You know, and you think about like the trucker convoys and like all the protests that happen in America and stuff, in Canada, like since COVID. And it's like, honestly, you know, whatever you think about those things, the people protesting in Russia have way more balls than anyone who's protested in Canada or the States about anything. Because like in Russia, they'll like lock you up, man. Like it's not a free country. And so there are many Russians out there who do not want this war with the Ukraine and who want things to be better. And we should be applauding those people, you know. Russian athletes and filmmakers who've come out, and even just regular citizens, you know. Like, there's a lot of people who don't want war. And, yeah, so, you know what, I'm sort of picking on the Ruskies here, but really it's the goddamn Putin, man. Guy effing sucks. Anyway, I'm trying to keep this from getting too political, so let's focus on the game now. We're up to 5 armies. We're doing well. I mean, we're really getting no resistance here in North America, which is pretty crazy. We're just going to steamroll this game, I think. I think this one's in the bag. Ontario versus Alberta. There's a battle you wonder how that would actually turn out in the real world. Ontario being a famously liberal bastion of Canada, and Alberta being oddly conservative, which is weird because Canada as a whole is very liberal. So to have a conservative section of it is just unusual, but it is what it is. End our turn, and I'm just going to fortify a little bit over here. Spread out the wealth, as they say. Okay, you guys better not be watching my cards. It keeps telling me make sure nobody's watching. So hopefully you guys are averting your eyes when the cards come up. Oh, you dare attack me? What are the purple guys? You dirty Australian scumbags. They were not able to check my cards. Choose 3 cards you wish to turn in. I don't know what any of them are. I don't remember. I think they're all just dudes. A bunch of dudes. We have nothing but dudes on our cards. One of them had Peru, though. We'll do that. All right, turn in those dudes. You get 8 more armies to distribute. Bam! And just like that, we are about to conquer North America. My glorious homeland of Canada, and also Greenland for some reason, is thrown in the mix. Let's do it. In fact, actually, you know what? We're not quite ready to take North America. We're not quite there. I know I could, but what would happen is I'd become an instant target. So here's another thing you got to balance in risk. If you do take North America, right now everyone's kind of fighting each other, but if you own North America, everyone's going to look at you and go, maybe we should stop fighting each other and start fighting the guy who owns the supercontinent. Well, I guess Europe and Asia is supercontinent, but North America and South America is it's super-ish too. And I did not realize, but damn, yellow, what has happened here? You control too much. North America is going to have to bring it against whoever yellow is. I forget who they are. But yeah, okay. Russia's on the way out, man. We're about to defeat them. I think the other thing is if you totally wipe out a player, you get their cards. Maybe I should have gone for Russia this turn. It is too late, though. I kind of screwed myself. So yeah, somebody else is going to get Russian cards. Shit. That was a tactical error. But blue is also doing okay at getting... blue has Africa. There's our cards. Ooh, we got an Albertan horse. Makes sense. The Calgary Stampede and all that stuff. Oh my god, Russia barely held on. Thank you, Russia. For barely holding on, because now I get to conquer you. I did not get my reserves. You son of a bitch. That is the dumbest rule ever. I'm just going to attack this so I can get a couple cards. Minimum. End your turn. Yes. Here to there. Problem is now Russia's probably going to turn in their cards, and A, they're going to have less cards for me to take, but B, then they're going to just attack me. The armies that they generated. Tactical error! Everyone's kind of ignoring me. Oh my god, Russia is so tiny right now. 25 armies! Okay, so the card bonuses are growing. So one strategy... yeah, see, if I had conquered Russia in the last turn, those 25 armies would have been mine, man. Although they did go in and just utterly wreck my opponents, so I can't be too mad at them. One strategy that a friend of mine and I used to talk about when we played Computer Risk back in the early 2000s. There was an online version you could play of Computer Risk, and we would play that. I think it was called like Total Domination or something. It was like totaldomination.com. You set up a free account and play. And one strategy we had was called Going Nomad. And what you would do is rather than trying to actually conquer territories anyone would care about, you'd pick a spot like Greenland, or you'd pick a spot in Asia, and you just put all your armies on that one tile, and each turn you would just attack one territory to get a card, one territory to get a card, one territory to get a card, and so on. And you would turn in your card bonus, dump all your armies on that one territory. And here's the thing is, like, other players could potentially wipe you out, but it would really weaken them to do so, and you weren't holding anything of strategic value. So it's like the guy in Europe, he's busy defending his border. I'm right here with like 50 armies, and he has like 30 defending. You know, is he going to risk attacking me to gain nothing? No. And so it's like you could sort of sit back in a corner of the world, and other forces would build up, but they'd attack each other and stuff. And then eventually you have like 100 armies, and everyone else is weak, and you just swoop in and steal someone's continent. So we called that strategy going nomad. And it worked. It was, well, sometimes it worked. Sometimes people were kind of wise to what you were doing, and they would watch you building up giant forces, and then they would attack you preemptively because they're like, I know how this is going to end, and it's not going to end like that on my turn. So it's like, it wasn't a perfect foolproof strategy. By the way, we just took North America. But it was kind of like another way of playing the game, you know? Like, I think a lot of people think if you don't get a territory and risk at the beginning, you're screwed. But it's not true. If you don't get a territory, pick some out-of-the-way country that no one cares about, usually in Asia, because no one can conquer Asia. Just pick some out-of-the-way country, slam all your armies down, and every turn, attack one territory that's nearby that only has the minimum defending forces to get a card. And once you've attacked and taken that territory, move every army there. So you're a giant ball of like 30 armies. And nobody will bother you for a while, and will give you an opportunity. It also generally puts the world on edge, you know, because all the other players are looking at this giant ball of like 50 armies slowly moving around, and they're all like trying to push you to attack one of their enemies and not attack them. So it's kind of interesting. Great Britain. Anyway, I think Russia's on the way out, man. They literally just got conquered. They're gone. All right, well, so much for Russia. They did not last long. Hopefully that's how it goes in the real world with the Ukraine. All right, we're going to save Great Britain because I think we might be able to get it. You have 25 armies to distribute. Dear God. Dear God. Okay, we can't let yellow have... can't let yellow have... Asia. It's not in the cards. It's literally not in the cards. So it is time to go nomad ourselves and crush them. And okay, we did that. That's good. I think we're done. And I want to pass my armies into... Oh, I didn't actually... Damn it, I thought I took that over. Son of a bitch. All right. I'm screwing up all over the place. Well, at least I have an opportunity to do this now. It's funny, the interface for this is kind of making me make mistakes. The EU just eliminated the Ruskies. Uh-oh. Well, actually, no, that's what we want in the real world. Yes, it happened. Yeah. And reserves. All right. Well, you did a good thing, EU, but also long term, I really am worried about you. Oh, I didn't place armies again. Son of a bitch. Oh, the interface. The interface screwed me over. If I win this game, wait, what am I doing here? Do I get to attack? Okay, there we go. So I want to attack there. There we go. All right, we need to actually take a territory. Move the max. And, oh god, I'm kind of afraid of upsetting the EU, but whatever, it's got to be done. We will replay that attack. Take all their territories. Take the attack. There we go. I have a feeling they're going to plow into North America because it's not defended super well. All right. Oh, we got a wild card. That's good. What are they attacking? Iceland. I mean, I knew they'd take it back, but I was just about denying them a reserve. Okay, get reserves. It's such bullshit that if you forget to place your armies, you don't... What? Does the game think you're like, oh, I forgot to place my armies. I just don't want them. It's like, that's so cheap. That is so cheap. That's actually one thing I hate about this version. I mean, I've played many computer versions of Risk over the years. It's definitely a game that's near and dear to my own heart, but I mean, that is such a cheap mechanic. Okay, attack. The Aussies lost one. All right, we'll just move some 3 armies there. End our turn, end our turn. All right. Yatusk. Ooh, I think we just took over Yatusk. Oh my god, 40 armies. 38 armies. That terrifies me. He didn't actually come for me. That's surprising. He could have swept in here and probably stolen this from me. Alright. Get your reserves. Never forget to get your damn reserves. And then go like this. Oops, didn't mean to do that. There we go. Back here. Kill him. Let's repeat F7. Can I just press F7? F7. Yeah, there we go. Alright, next turn we're turning in cards. Our turn. I'm leaving more armies on my territories than the minimum because I want to just make it a deterrent, make it annoying if the AI decides to attack us. And we gotta move these guys over here. Keep our borders strong. Glory be to Canada, man. Oh my god. When an army of like 30 moves out, it's actually terrifying. It's happening so fast that I can't 100% tell what's going on the computer's turn. But I think yellow has basically been worn down. Although they just attacked me. They will pay. No, not Yatusk! No, get out of here! Oh my god, thank god. I have a card bonus for that. Let's use it while we got it. And then Central America, we got a card bonus for that too. What was Yatusk again? It was a person, so I need a horse. Oh, I have Alberta. Look at all these card bonuses. 3 bonuses. 50 armies! Okay. Well, we gotta wipe somebody out because we gotta steal their cards. So basically when Risk gets to this point, it becomes a game of wiping out your opponents to get their cards. So we're going to sweep through for purple. Not because I have anything against purple, just because he's going to be the easiest one to get cards off of. And then we will deal with the rest of this pond scum after that. I wonder if there's a way to place all your armies. There's not. So yeah, I think the more tactical version of Risk is the version that doesn't have escalating cards. So there's 2 benefits. With the escalating cards, you know the game will eventually end. But in my opinion, it just sort of starts to become random near the end. With non-escalating cards, countries get entrenched. So it's like games last a lot longer. And also sometimes you slowly watch someone who owns North America build a slower and slower advantage over all the other players over time. And if nobody does anything, then eventually North America just wins. So it's like somebody has to take the initiative and attack them at some point. And nobody wants to be the person who attacks because then they weaken themselves and North America. And then who's to say who the other players will actually wipe out? They might wipe out you, right? So there's this like weird standoff when it's set card amounts. But again, I do think it is a more tactical way to play. Because you end up... oh, sweet. We just rolled right over them. We're going to bring 60. We're going to leave a little bit of defense. We're destroying the EU now. Sorry, EU. Really appreciate everything you did, taking out Putin and all that, but, you know, armies and cards and such. So yeah, it's a slower game. But it still is almost anyone's game. It's not as if whoever gets a continent first de facto wins. Because it really becomes then a game about politics and about like getting other players to team up against a player. So it's like another strategy in games like that is you take all of Asia, but you leave like one or two parts that you don't have. Typically you would leave this and you would make absolutely no moves to attack here. And over time, players start to trust that you're not going to complete the Asian supercontinent, so you just leave it. And you're like, I'm not interested in that. You do other things, you attack people over here and stuff. But then when you notice you have a time to strike, when the world is weak, you take this. And by the time you've taken it, it's too late, and they can't take it back. And then now you've got the supercontinent, and now it is game. If they don't team up against you, it is game over for them. So there are sort of psychological strategies and stuff to risk going on here. Convincing the world you're no threat. Being like, no, I'm peaceful. I would never attack the Middle East. Why don't you take your armies out of there? And then when they're not looking, you slam in there. Take them all out. As opposed to this, which is just like, at this point, whoever has the most cards is going to win. So yeah, I feel like honestly this version of Risk is not good. It is too random. It's just all randomness. We'll attack them again. We're just rolling over the EU though, although they are defending now. England put up a valiant defense. Good defense, chaps. Bring these forces out. I've just eliminated the EU. And I must turn in my cards now. All right. Great Britain, which I own. Wild card we will save. Argentina. Western Europe, which we have. Right? And Ural, which we don't have, but who cares? 55 more armies to distribute. I mean, we're just basically going to... Because we can just wipe this guy out now and get his cards. We're about to sweep the game, people. We're about to sweep the game. I mean, yellow's not even going to get a turn, man. Jesus, we have 100 armies. Well played, Canada. Nobody ever suspects the Canadians, but, you know, we're deadly. You turn your back on us. Oh, we're just defeating the Americans. I guess another thing I will say about this version of Risk is that these battles are, like, quite slow to actually roll your way through. It's honestly like almost as slow as doing the actual board game. In other versions that I've played, more modern versions, definitely the controls have been developed over the years, so it's like things just go a lot smoother. Like having a pop-up to tell me how many armies I've lost is like a little excessive. They could just sort of show a number on the like -2 or -1, you know, like. There's lots you could do to improve this. But, you know, hey, we're playing a Windows 3.1 game, so it's all part of the charm, I think. But they've put up a valiant defense of whatever this is, Finland or whatever. I don't know my European geography too well. I know like the big ones like France, Spain, Germany, Poland, Italy, Ukraine, obviously, England. But then it's like there's all these countries like Turkey and like Norway and the Netherlands I'm very like fuzzy on, or like whatever the Dutch one is. I honestly forget the name of the country. Who is the Dutch? Oh shit, oh my god, it's so embarrassing. Alright, I'm just a poor uneducated Canadian, people, don't judge me. Look away, I'm stupid. Argentina. We have one with a dude. We do, Siam. 60 more armies to distribute. Yellow, buddy, I'm sorry, but you ain't getting a turn. You ain't getting a turn. I have more armies on the board now than I think have ever existed on the board this entire game. That's actually hilarious. Alright, attacking you. Oh. You dare oppose me? Ukraine? Now I'm the one invading the Ukraine. I become the very monster I've rallied against. Oh god. I mean, I shouldn't make light of the situation. It's certainly not a joking matter, so don't take that too seriously, guys. Anyway. So there's also an art form, by the way, to invading Asia here, because you could paint yourself into a corner. Like if I attack here and here and here and here and here and here and like move up this way, all of a sudden my armies will be here. There'll be nowhere for them to attack. I haven't taken this. Australia's still in the mix. So here's my plan. We've gone here. We're gonna go here, 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 here. We'll have to attack there and put a splinter force, and then we'll go here, 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 here. Like you kind of have to like plan out this snake, and you can't ever double back on a territory. You can't attack your own territories. So you definitely don't want to paint yourself into a corner. That's another little like subtle, interesting thing about Risk is like when you do have these giant armies, you have to know where you're going. I have seen people play online where they make a mistake and they actually move into the wrong territory, and then their armies are all trapped there for a turn, and it gives the other players a turn to counterattack, and it can be devastating. And the other thing is, if all your armies are trapped, like if this 132, if I own this territory, this territory, this territory, and this territory, I couldn't attack, and like maybe if the computer, if my turn ended that way, the computer would be foolish to attack any of the territories bordering that, because my next turn I can't attack with it either. I'd have to move them at the end of the turn. So it would give the computer 2 turns to do something. So it's like, I have seen that too online when people play, where they accidentally trap their armies, and it's like, sucks to be you, man, but those armies, you might have 200 armies on the board. They ain't doing shit for the next 2 turns, you know? You're going to be at the whims and mercies of the rest of us, so... yeah, it's interesting how simple Risk is, but how many sort of like little scenarios and tactics and stuff like that exist. So you have to be careful here. If I take Japan, I do not want to move my armies into Japan. I just want to move a minimum amount of armies into Japan. Okay, this could be it. Okay. So now you do the minimum. If I accidentally move the max, I'd be trapped in Japan. I'd be screwed. But I think it is the Aussies who are screwed. Screwed by the Canadians. The glorious Canadians. Queen and Country and Pamela Anderson and... She's Canadian, eh? The only reason I'm thinking of it is because I recently started watching that Pam and Tommy show about the sex tape she made with Tommy Lee in the 90s. And it's about more than that. It's about like their relationship and stuff like that, but... Pam Anderson, Mike Myers, William Shatner, Jim Carrey, Justin Bieber. You know, you're welcome, world. I want to say James Cameron even, but that can't be right. That can't be right. I think Brendan Fraser even. I've talked about him on the channel before. He's making a comeback, and I'm rooting for the guy. I'm rooting for him. Right. I'm like literally kind of like running out of stuff to say as we just sort of like watch Australia slowly collapse. You know what's cool? The Aussies really did take over Australia. That's kind of interesting how that actually all sort of worked out in the end. You guys did what you were supposed to do, but now what you're supposed to do is die. Well played, Australia. You were a noble opponent. Now you must feel the wrath of 2 million Royal Canadian Mounted Police riding on caribou, jacked up on military-grade maple syrup, ready to crush you. You know, as a kid, honestly, I grew up in Toronto, And I always hated all those stereotypes depicting Canada as like a wilderness and, you know, all this stuff. Because, like, for me, my lived experience, I might as well have grown up in New York City, you know? Like, I mean, Toronto isn't as big as New York City, but I mean, it's comparable to any major American metropolis. So it's like, for me, I'm growing up, I'm like riding the subway, seeing cars, you know, playing Nintendo, VCRs, TVs everywhere, you know, people of like every ethnicity you can imagine going to school with me. You know, like it was a multicultural urban place. And then every time I turned on the TV, every popular depiction of Canada was like, we maple syrup and we live in the snow and caribou and stuff. And I'm like, I haven't seen that my entire life. You know, since I've been older, I've like traveled around to like northern Canada and stuff, and I see that it's like, okay, it's like there are large parts of the country that are kind of like that. But if you go to any of the major cities, they're nothing like that. And I guess as a kid, it's not like I resented, but it's like I just didn't like those depictions because it didn't feel Canadian to me. The Canada that was Canada to me was Toronto. And I know Canadians will, you know, complain about Torontonians thinking that Toronto is the center of the universe and all Canada is like Toronto. But it's like it really felt like that for me as a kid. And even to this day, when I think of Canada, I think of like southwestern Ontario. I think of like Toronto, you know, Guelph, London, Hamilton. God, I couldn't even think of the name. Like all those major cities. Like southwestern Ontario is one of the most densely, you know, occupied places for like cities back to back to back. And so it was like nonstop cities. There were no caribou down there, you know. There's no bears, nothing like that. It's like, again, like living in New York. It's a city, man. Anyway, we've destroyed the Aussies. I can stop complaining about Canada. We just won the game. Canada's the winner in 13 rounds. Canadian national anthem, begin! And that is how the world, my friends, should be. Ruled by Canadians with an iron fist of love and compassion and understanding. We will make you Canadians whether you want to be or not. There we go. I don't know. I had fun playing Risk here today, guys. I hope you guys did too. I hope my occasional... developed by Azeroth. Wait, what? Isn't that the name of the world in Warcraft? Does this have some connection to Blizzard? Now I'm wondering. But anyway, hopefully my occasional political ramblings were not too intrusive. As I say, it's unprecedented times, guys. And I'm just a guy who plays video games. Don't look to me for any like hard answers or real opinions or anything like that, but it did sort of feel like disingenuous to say nothing, and it's been on my mind. I'm sure it's been on your minds, guys. So we had a bit of fun here with Risk. I sincerely hope, for the sake of everyone out there, that true peace will come to the world very soon. My thoughts are with all the people who are out there in Europe going through stuff right now. And wherever you are in the world, I hope things are going well for you. I hope you're safe. And I hope you'll come back to the channel sometime and we can just continue to sort of get lost in this escape of video games. So, yeah, there's nothing else for me to say here, guys. Guys, it's been fun. Stay safe, and I hope to see you soon. Alrighty, guys. Peace. I know you want to see it. You want that shutdown, that sweet, sweet Windows 3.1 shutdown sound. All right, well, here you guys go.